So I have over 6.5 of experience. I currently work as a chief of staff at a tech startup. So it's general management role, and I end up working on the strategic cross-functional projects. Before my current stint, I was with a tech giant, and I was in the human resources domain. I also kind of earned my diploma from XLRI in HRM, and I did my undergrad from Pune, Ferguson College. And outside work, I love to travel, dance, and read books. Okay, so I chose to wear a blazer with pants, and the atmosphere at the venue was rather very pleasant, right? I had been to other B school interviews. It was very stressful there. But at the ISB venue, it was very, very pleasant. There were coordinators who were there to help you out. There were people you could talk to who were waiting for the interview. So it was very, very pleasant rather, which kind of helped, kind of relieve some anxiety. Of course, they asked me to introduce myself. And I think that's a question you want to really prepare well, because whatever you tell them in that question, they of course ask questions basis the inputs you've given them, right? So advice to kind of prepare that answer very, very well. There were no unexpected questions per se, but I got one question on a project I had led 2 years ago, right? So while I had prepared as to, how the project went, what was the outcome, what was my role, but the question I got from them was, what would I do differently today if I had to lead the project again? Right. So while I had not prepared an answer for that as such, but that was an unexpected question for me. So what I did was I kind of asked for a few minutes from them. I really thought through the entire project, and I came up with an answer which I thought was appropriate. So I started my prep even before I got a shortlist, right? Because I think submission date for the application was around first week of December, and they were going to start rolling out the interview invites by end of December. So I didn't have much time. So I thought in my head, let's start preparing irrespective of whether I get a shortlist call or not. So the first thing I did was go through my own application and the essays over and over again. So you kind of get very, very well acquainted to what you've submitted, right? You have a story ready for every point you've put, you have an explanation ready. And I think I did one more thing is I kind of made questions for every point. Questions the interviewers might ask me, right? So I kind of created my own questions, and I prepared pointers to kind of answer them, right? So that was the first thing I did. Number two was I went through a lot of interview debriefs on GMAT Club, which were posted by people who'd been interviewed for ISB, and I kind of picked questions from there as well as to the ones which could be answered to me and kind of prepared answers for them. I also did a few mock interviews with my fiance, with my brother. That was one. And lastly, but most importantly, the mock interview with Preppie, I think was the most helpful. I was a bit anxious with the entire interview thing at ISB, but then the mock interview with Preppie really helped me build my confidence, right? And the feedback I got after the mock interview with Preppie, I think that really helped me further and kind of help me kind of relax and relieve the anxiety I had. Yeah, I think firstly, you get to interview with ISB alums themselves, right? You are sitting with a person who's already gone through the experience, who's been to ISB. So they know how the interviews go. That's one. Number two is my interview with Preppie was very close to the actual interview I had with ISB, right? The flow, the kind of questions asked were very similar. Also the feedback I got, I mean, the interviewer really stayed back with me after the mock interview to give me a detailed feedback. He also covered areas of, areas on my kind of application where I could get asked questions. He gave me some tips, right? And just helped me kind of, build some confidence. I think number two is, how easy it is to book a mock interview with Preppie, right? The team at Preppie has been very, very open, very helpful. You kind of reach out to them, you tell them your convenient time and they'll schedule an interview, right? And plus the ROI is great, right? The amount you pay for one interview at Preppie is, as compared to what you get out of it is a lot. Right, so the ROI aspect is good. So I think primarily for these two reasons, something for which I'll recommend Preppie to a friend. Yeah. So I did ask them two questions at the end of it. My first question to them was, what were some things they did right during their PGP, which led to their success, and what were a few things they could have done better probably during their time at PGP, if they have to reflect back today. And second question I asked them was, given that they now know my post MBA goals, how would they recommend I spend my time at PGP, right? Now, these two questions really opened up a conversation. Uh, I had 3 interviewers in my panel, and all of them took their own time to answer my questions, right? They shared their own perspective, and they kind of didn't rush with it, right? They were very candid with the answers. So I think those two questions, while gave me perspective, also opened a very good conversation between the panel and myself. So I think my interview must have gone on for 30 to 35 minutes. And I think the last question I was asked was, what were a few things I'm excited about ISB? And of course, you should know the school very well. You should know their programs, their clubs very well, which helps you answer such questions. So that was my last question. I didn't really get remarks as such from them, but they were very, very. I mean, yeah, no remarks as such, I think. I think firstly, I was very relieved that the interview was over. That was the first feeling. I think I was pretty positive after the interview, right? The entire interview was very conversational. It was very pleasant. They didn't really stress me out. So I was feeling very positive. And, I thought that I gave my answers very well. And of course, after any interview, you feel, oh, I could have said that or said this. That's pretty natural, right? But overall, I was feeling very positive about how my interview went. Yeah, I think I should have rested well before my interview and taken care of my health, because I ended up falling sick on the day of my interview. I had a bad throat. I was traveling from Pune to Mumbai for my interview, so I had kind of woken up very early. And hence, it would have been better if I had just traveled a day before, which would give me a good night's sleep. So I think if I had to do something differently, I would just rest well and look after my health at least 2 to 3 weeks leading up to the interview.